Good morning, it's Jonathan Barratt with the morning debrief, 2nd of July. It's Friday the 2nd of July. The current time there is 7:55. Okay, quite a lot of news to get through today, and I guess the major bit of news we had was concerning the Prime Minister Gillard giving us a revised version of the resource rent tax, or the tax on super profits miners. Now that has just come to air, so if anything it should give us a little bit of a lift or support in a market that probably will open up relatively weak. Yesterday we saw BHP and Rio have a very strong move, as there were indications that she would actually review it. I guess the main changes to it was the threshold for tax to be paid has been increased from the bond rate of 5% through to 12%, and as a result of that, that'll exclude a lot of the small miners. So that is quite positive. They've rather than the super tax, they've decided to call it the Mineral Resource Rent Tax, MRRT, and that falls in line with the Petroleum Resource Rent Tax, which they're also putting up to pay for it. One thing which he has not given up on so far is the headline rate of 40%, and we're still waiting to see whether or not there'll be any change on that headline rate, dropping that to another level. But I guess the key there is a compromise that's been sought after, and the more news that comes to hand, the more we'll certainly let you know. But at the moment, I think the compromises are there, they are being made, and that will be supportive to a market that should open up relatively weak. But I think in the mining sector, this should be quite encouraging. Okay, let's have a look now at generally all the other news, because there certainly was a lot. Some very, very large moves across the board. I guess the most important one there is the Dow was down 41 points, 9,732. The S&P was down 3.3. The Nasdaq was down 7.8, and the Russell was down 4.7. Moving across to Europe, we saw quite a negative move there, as concerns that Spain will have some difficulty. Certainly entered the market, and that is a little bit of a concern. And we're just trying to get that up now. There we go. Europe, where Stoic was down 2.12%. The FTSE was down 2.26. The DAX was down 1.81, and the CAC, as you can see, down 2.9. Very nervous across the board. But the interesting thing here is we saw some massive moves in the euro. The euro was up like 220 points, and gold was absolutely trashed. Gold down its largest move since February. It was down about $44 to $11.98, so quite aggressive on that front. The major news that caused particularly that US to come under pressure, US manufacturing, jobless claims and home sales data, it shows that the economy is not recovering, that in fact it is actually slowing down, and as a result of that we're going through a readjustment of valuations, and that's what we saw. Now it is interesting, with that falling US dollar, we did see a little bit of a lift in some of the commodities, but some of the other commodities came under pressure. And what we'll do is we'll run through some of those as we speak. So you're aware the local market closed up on the back of that proposed compromise by Julia Gillard. The local market closed up, let's just grab it. Where are you? Local market, there we are, so I think I've actually passed it. Yeah, closed at 42.35. I had a low of 41.70. That's up 23 on the day, so on the night session, so pretty good. Okay, let's have a look at usual thing, dollar index, big movement there. Dollar index 84.74, exceptionally weak, certainly under a lot of pressure there, and as you can see there on the hourly, it's certainly cut back quite a bit. Just having a look at the daily chart, you can see that that's also been trashed as well, and the daily, when you look at the daily chart, certainly under a lot of pressure there, and that will signal that we've got a triple top there, and as a result of that, could actually see it come under quite a bit of pressure there, maybe back to 82. That can actually signal probably a high in place for the US dollar, and I guess if anything, the expectations there will be for dollar to weaker. That should support it. You can see that in the euro. Euro at 125.16, and that's had quite a large move. And if anything there, it signals quite a bit of a low there in place for the US dollar. So if anything, US dollar continue to weaken. Just a breaking news has just come through. That tax has been dropped from 40% to 30%, so that's another change. And there has been quite a list and quite a bit of compromise, so that should support everything across the board. Anyway, let's get back to the market. Aussie, US dollar slightly weaker, but it didn't help gold. Gold got absolutely trashed. Gold sort of came up the second largest move this year, down at 11.99. So if anything there, that's certainly gold. Certainly, I don't know whether it's just weak longs coming under pressure and just capitulating, or whether it's people getting out to pay for margin calls. But if anything there, very large move there across the board. It did, however, help some of the other commodities, that weaker dollar, and you can see we've had some very strong moves across the board. All you need to do is really look at what's happening in soya, corn, and wheat, and all these moves are exceptionally strong there. There's soybeans ready for its move to the top side. And there's just seen those moves on a daily basis. They're all very positive there for wheat and corn, and here's corn as well. Looking at looking at there, so quite aggressive there, particularly on that side of it. Okay, so that's pretty much with the agriculturals looking quite strong. On the back of that news, we probably expect our local market to open a little bit higher. Also, it's important to note the economic calendar, and tonight we do have that important unemployment rate and non-farm payrolls are important, which will be very important. So if anything, there's going to be a lot to talk about. Read the resources tax, or the new name there is the minerals resource rent tax, and expect our market to open up better bid. That is going to be comforting, but remember, we've also got that non-farm payrolls tonight, and that will be a big mover. Anyway, that's about it from us. I hope you have a great day. It's going to be exciting, so let's see how it all unfolds.